Hey guys, David here from phonebuff.com, and in this video we're doing a review on the Nexus 7 tablet from Google, manufactured by ASUS. As you guys can see the branding here at the bottom. I'm going to do a quick hardware tour of the device before I actually get into the review. So on the front you have a IPS backlit display at 7 inches. It's 1280 by 800 in resolution. At the top of the device you have a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera. On the bottom we don't have capacitive touch buttons. Obviously, being a Nexus device, it's going to be on screen like it was in the Galaxy Nexus. So you have back, home, and the multitask button. On the back of the tablet, you have no rear facing camera, but you do have this Nexus branding. You have this somewhat leathery material on the back. I mean, it's not leather, obviously it is plastic, but it's kind of grippy, so I definitely like that. Got the ASUS branding, like I said earlier. Speaker grill right here at the bottom. At the actual bottom of the device, you have a 3.5mm headset jack. You have the micro USB charging port right over here. On the left side, you have nothing but these little pins right here for a dock, presumably. On the right side, you have your volume rocker, volume up and down, and of course your power button for turning it on and off and bringing it in and out of standby. On the top, you have nothing but this little microphone right over here. So that's the hardware tour for the outside. On the inside of the device, you have a Nvidia Tegra 3 quad-core processor at 1.3 gigahertz with a 12-core GPU. So it's going to be great for gaming. 1 gigabyte of RAM. You have either 8 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes of internal storage, depending on which model you get. There is no micro SD card slot. Under the back, you have a 4,325 milliamp battery, and the device overall, is pretty thin at just under 10.5 millimeters, and it weighs just 12 ounces, so pretty light too. So anyway, that's the hardware tour. Let's go ahead and talk about the phone or the device itself. Should I say the tablet itself? So I'm going to talk about first what I dislike, like I typically do in my reviews. Then I'm going to talk about, what's just okay. I mean, it's not necessarily bad, not necessarily good. And then finally, I'm going to wrap it up with what I like, because I do like ending my product reviews with a positive note. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so there are actually 3 things that I don't like about the Nexus 7 tablet. The first is the fact that there's no SD card slot. So with just 8 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes of internal storage, it just doesn't cut it for me. I mean, it doesn't cut it for me on a phone. So on a tablet, I'm not going to be happy with it. And the main reason is because people use tablets more like they use their computers, and you just need more storage space. So obviously, there are other options out there. I mean, you have the cloud. You can sync 5 gigabytes of your data on Google Drive for free. You could have your music on Google Play, or you have services like Drawbacks, which do help out. I just feel like, it should have been a little bit more memory on here, maybe 32 gigabytes at least, or, give us the option for a micro SD card slot, but we didn't get either, so definitely it's something that I dislike. The next thing I dislike, which is number 2, is the fact that there's no HDMI output option. So not only is there not an HDMI port anywhere on the device, as you guys could see from the hardware tour, but the micro USB charging port doesn't work with MHL adapters, meaning you can't use those adapters to connect it to your HD screens like you would on the Galaxy Nexus. I'm not sure if that was a cost-saving move or if it's just a feature that they can enable via software later. I'm not sure about it, but I know right now it doesn't work. The USB charging port still works as a USB host device, so meaning you could actually connect, your keyboard and mice to it. You connect your Xbox 360 controller to it, so that's nice. But just really wish that I was able to connect this guy to my TV, especially considering that Google actually gives you the movie Transformers for free when you purchase the Nexus 7 tablet. So that's another downside. And then the last downside is the speaker on the back. I don't know if this is a thing with Nexus devices, but the speaker is just not that loud. I mean, the Nexus 7 or the Galaxy Nexus isn't loud. I said that in my review of that phone, but this guy, it's not bad necessarily as far as like it being really low, but it's just barely louder than the Galaxy Nexus. I feel like my Galaxy S3 is actually louder than this. And for a tablet, I just expect louder. The iPad is a lot louder. Obviously, there's a different price point. Can't really compare the two in that regard, but I just wish they went with a little bit, a speaker that's a little bit louder. I'm not sure if you could download an app that amplifies the sound. Haven't tried yet, but I'll try it out. But when it comes to stock, it just doesn't cut it. So those are the 3 things that I dislike about the Nexus 7 tablet, which is actually a good thing considering that there's only 3. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that I think are, just so-so or okay. First thing is the screen. Now, some people might consider the screen, a plus. Some might consider it a negative. I just consider it okay because, yeah, it's an HD screen at 1280 by 800, but it's not really impressive considering, you know, with devices like the Galaxy Nexus, the Galaxy S3 with the same resolution. I mean, it's 1280 by 720 on those, but those guys are 5-inch or less displays. So the PPI on there are a lot higher. It's 306 and 312 for the Galaxy S3 and the Galaxy Nexus respectively. And on here, with the same, you know, with the 7-inch screen with the same resolution or about the same resolution, you're just 216 PPI. So not that great, obviously, but it's not horrible. The backlit IPS display does, you know, help out a bit. I mean, I feel like it does look good. I mean, not gonna like pick it up and be like, oh god, the screen is horrible, but at the same time, you're not gonna pick it up and be like, wow, the screen is, you know, blowing me away. So that's why I just put it as, you know, something that's just okay. Thankfully, it is a Gorilla Glass screen, so it is gonna be scratch resistant, which is definitely a plus. Next thing that I think is just okay is the camera. Honestly, it just gets the job done when it comes to video chat. It's not really good quality. You know, it's not the same quality like you saw on the Galaxy S3 with 1.9 megapixels. It's just 1.2 megapixels. Gets the job done. There was no camera app included, and probably because, you know, Google realized that the camera isn't all that great. Obviously, just for a front facer, it's made for video chat, but it's not horrible. I mean, you could download this little launcher app, and you could do things like time lapse. You could do panoramic pictures, so it's pretty cool. Not great, not horrible, just okay. And the last thing that is just okay is the battery. I wasn't particularly like blown away by the battery, but I definitely wasn't disappointed. The battery on the back at 4,325 milliamps does last you long enough. ASUS says that it lasts you up to 8 hours of active use, and you know, it seems pretty accurate to me. I mean, I haven't used it for 8 hours straight yet, but I have used it, you know, for an hour or two here and there, and it's lasted me like 2 days. Then I charge it up. Charges up pretty quickly, actually, like in an hour, I think. I'm not sure, but charged up pretty quickly. Is able to use it again, you know, playing games and things like that, which I'll talk about later. But anyway, battery is just okay. You know, you're not going to be disappointed, and that's, I don't know, in a lot of people's book, that's a good thing. So with that said, those are the 3 things that I found just okay. But now let's talk about what I feel like is actually really good on this device, and you know, what separates this tablet from some of the others on the market. All right, so the first thing is the size and the build quality. So first, let's talk about the build quality. You know, it's an all black, you know, device. On the back, it's all black. On the front, it's all black. You know, when you turn the screen off, you can't see anything. I mean, it's just all black. You know, the only thing you might notice is the front-facing camera, but other than that, this looks really sleek. You have the silver outline over here, and it just looks really nice. Feels nice in the hand. This grippy material feels nice. I feel like it could take a drop. You know, I feel like it take it pretty well without getting too damaged. Especially with that Gorilla Glass screen. You know, I feel pretty good about it. You know, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to hold it and make sure it doesn't drop. So that's nice to see. Definitely like that. When it comes to size, I'm not just referring to the 7-inch screen. I do feel like the 7-inch screen has a lot of advantages over 10-inch screens, but overall size, you know, the bezels are pretty thin, so the overall tablet isn't all that big. It actually fits in my pockets, which is an amazing feat for a tablet. You know, it fit in my basketball shorts and it fit in my jeans. So obviously it depends on the kind of clothes you wear, how tight your jeans are or whatnot, but pretty cool the fact that I could actually do that. I mean, I'm not gonna say I am gonna do that and walk around with it, but it's possible, and it isn't all that bad because it is pretty thin at under 10.5 millimeters. So it's actually not that all that uncomfortable. So that's another thing that I really like. Next thing that I like about the Nexus 7 tablet, and probably the main reason, I mean, the main reason you're gonna get this tablet is the fact that it is a Nexus device, meaning you're gonna get a pure Google experience. You know, you're gonna get Android the way Google designed it to be. You're gonna get the latest version of Android all the time. You know, right here, you look at the settings, Android 4.1.1, the latest version out, and I'll show you the little Easter egg thing right here. But anyway, you know, having a Nexus device has a bunch of advantages, but the biggest one to me is longevity. First of all, it's gonna last you a lot longer. I mean, typically Nexus devices get at least one more system update than, you know, other devices do. And on top of that, you're gonna get it a lot earlier than others. So while the hardware will get older and older as time goes on, the software will stay up to date. That's why a phone like the Galaxy Nexus can still compete with some of the phones like the Galaxy S3 because it's a whole version ahead as of right now. It takes like maybe 5 or 6 months for other devices to catch up. So definitely another thing that, you know, I would consider. You don't have no bloatware, no manufacturer UI over top of it. So it's just a really clean system. Everything runs quickly. I will mention for a second that, you know, it looks a lot like the Galaxy Nexus. I mean, if you get the phone and actually compare the two side by side, let me see if I can find mine really quick. There it is. All right, so you can see, I mean, they look pretty much the same. I mean, you press the app launcher and they look the same, scroll through your apps, widgets, looks pretty much the same, and that's because they are. They're both running Android 4.1.1 Jelly Bean, and you can see the speed is pretty similar too with Project Butter. But there are a few differences with the Nexus 7 as far as the differences between that and the Galaxy Nexus. So you get the notification bar. You can see with the Nexus 7, you actually have the option to turn the auto rotate off or on, or just lock it like that. So that's definitely something I really like, because I wish they actually included on the Galaxy Nexus. You can lock it like that, so that when you turn it sideways, it's not gonna actually rotate when you don't want it to, which is great for when you're using the device when in bed and laying on your side. So that's something I definitely like. The other thing that you'll notice is the browser. So if you go to the browser and I want to type something in really quick, I'll go ahead over here and type something. You can see the keyboard over here just says, the regular keyboard, and then the go button over here. The go button's a little bit higher up, like where it would be on a regular keyboard for the enter button, and then you have a .com button, which is pretty cool. So obviously with more screen real estate, it's going to be easier for that to happen, but it just more tablet friendly features on the keyboard on the Galaxy, or the Nexus 7. Sorry, I'm getting the device names confused now. One note, I want to talk about the screen size really quick. I know that was a previous point, but I want to point it out to you guys, because this is something that, the main reason why I like the size is because I feel like the keyboard is really easy to type on. I've tried to type on the iPad, tried to type on 10-inch tablets, Android tablets, and it's just a lot harder to do compared to here, because I could reach all the letters with really, relative ease. I mean, I could reach all the way across really if I wanted to, but on a 10-inch tablet, I feel like I have to stretch my thumbs out all the way just to reach G or H or something like that. So on here, the typing experience is going to be a lot better. But anyway, let's talk about the next point. And the next thing that I really like on here is the Tegra 3 quad-core processor with a 12-core GPU. So you can download the Tegra Zone app, which I did from the Google Play Store. But one of the advantages, obviously, of having a quad-core processor on here is everything is super fast. I mean, Jelly Bean is fast in its own right, but combine that with the quad-core processor, Google Chrome, you have the full, like, almost desktop version compared to on the Galaxy Nexus or a phone. You have your tabs over here. You can actually move them around by pressing and holding them like that. So you get the kind of the same experience you would on the desktop. And honestly, that's thanks to one, the screen size, but two, the processor on here is fast enough to support some of those extra features. Loading up internet web pages is super fast on here, but the gaming, with the Nvidia Tegra Zone and the the Tegra games that are optimized for Tegra games. For example, I'll just run Shine Runner really quick and show you guys the graphics really quick. Let me turn the volume down before that annoys me. So I want to show you really quick just the graphics on here, because it is pretty amazing. So let me click on this. And I'm going to do a comparison between the graphics on a Tegra device versus a non-Tegra, but as you guys can see, I mean, this is pretty much like console quality graphics, at least to me it looks like. The Xbox 360 might have a little bit better graphics, but you see that little, like the water splash right there, that's something that you won't see on a non-Tegra device. But anyway, you get the idea. Great for gaming with a 7-inch tablet, especially if you connect the Xbox 360 controller to here. It's really awesome to have this guy. So that's another thing I like. And the main thing that really draws a lot of people to the Nexus 7 tablet, if the first 3 points that I mentioned don't, is the price. At just $200 for the 8GB model and $250 for the 16GB model, you really can't beat it, considering you're getting a quad-core, this device with a Tegra 3, 12-core GPU. You're getting an HD screen. Obviously, that's not the highest PPI, but it's nice and has Gorilla Glass. And I mean, you're getting a pure Android experience. So really can't ask for more for just $200, $250. I was honestly sold. The second I saw the price, I was sold, knowing that it was a Nexus device, let alone the fact that they included a Tegra processor. I mean, even if it was a dual-core processor, I probably still would have bought it. But with a Tegra 3 quad-core processor, with a 12-core GPU, it was just an easy sell. So anyway, that's what I think of the Nexus 7 tablet. That's my review for it. Overall, I give this device a huge thumbs up. I mean, at $200, you don't have much to lose, considering you're getting so much with this tablet. Really like it. If you're looking for a 7-inch tablet, consider this strongly. Even if you're considering a tablet like the iPhone, or the iPad, you can save yourself $300, if you don't need some of those extra features that you would give the iPad, maybe the extra size and things like that, or the higher resolution. If you don't need that, the Nexus 7 tablet could be a great alternative. So anyway, that's it for me in this review. If you found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up or like button and subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this. Like I said, I'm gonna be comparing the gaming on here on Tegra device to non-Tegra devices and a whole bunch more. So anyway, stay tuned. Thank you.